Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles the Dance, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. We'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a great show for y'all, man. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. And be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. So let's get into it, man. Hope you guys had a good weekend. You know what I mean? Hope you guys had a good weekend. So, you guys know the fallout between Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. We chronicled it really from the start, number of years ago, where Scottie Pippen, fired the first shot in the direction of Michael Jordan. And it really dates back to the interview that he did on the Dan Patrick Show a number of years ago, after the Last Dance docuseries came out. And Scottie Pippen took exception to the things that were portrayed in the documentary. And he went on the Dan Patrick Show. I don't know if he was drunk or whatever the hell it was. And he just started going off at Michael Jordan in ways that I think really shocked the entire NBA community. Because prior to that, no one knew that Scottie Pippen harbored those kind of feelings towards Michael Jordan. So what we want to do is want to play what Scottie had to say, where all this really started, because it ties into what he said here today. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Scottie Pippen had to say about Michael Jordan when he first started going attacking him.
Help me understand the GQ article where you talked about the 1994 playoff game when you refused to go back in the game and Phil set up the play for Tony Kukoc.
Well, I mean, it's not much to be said. If you go back and look at when Scottie Pippen entered the Bulls and when Tony Kukoc entered the Bulls, and who deserved the last shot of the game.
No, I understand that, Scottie. I'm just going by what you said. You said you need to read between the fine lines, and then you go on to say it was a racial move to give him, Tony Kukoc, a rise. So,
well, I mean, if you knew that Scottie Pippen had been with the Bulls from 87, battled through the Pistons and every other team that we had to get to those 3 championships, wouldn't you give Scottie Pippen one opportunity to get a last-second shot without Michael Jordan? Like 1 year without Michael Jordan. Can I get one shot? Like, I'm doing all the dirty work.
But all of that I understand from the basketball standpoint. But when you say a racial move,
well, why would Tony, who was a rookie, get the last-second shot and you put me out of bounds? That's what I mean, racial. Like, that was Scottie Pippen's team.
But
Scottie
Phil
Pippen
then
was
but,
on pace to be an MVP that year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why would you put him in a position not to be successful? Why wouldn't you put him in a position to succeed? Michael Jordan is not there. So who's next in line for you?
But have you talked to Phil about this? Because by saying a racial move, then you're calling Phil a racist.
I don't got a problem with that.
Do you think Phil was or is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you remember Phil Jackson left the Lakers, wrote a book on Kobe Bryant, and then came back and coached him? I mean, who would do that? You name someone in professional sports that would do that. You know? I think he tried to expose Kobe in a way that he shouldn't have. You're the head coach, and you're the guy that sits in the locker room and tells the players, this is a circle, and everything stays within the circle, because that's what team is about. But you as the head coach, open it up, and now you go out and you try to belittle, at that time, probably one of the greatest players in the game.
Well, it feels like he's disloyal. I don't know if that makes him a racist.
Well, that's your way of putting it out, and I have my way. I was in the locker room with him. I was in practices with him. You're looking for him afar.
Yeah, and look, that's why I wanted to have you on. But I go back, and Phil designed a play for Steve Kerr when Mike was there, and Mike didn't have a problem with that, did he?
I don't understand. You're not setting me up to answer the right question. What do you mean, Phil set up a play for Steve Kerr? He didn't set that play for Steve Kerr. He set that play for Michael Jordan.
I thought in the huddle, Mike says, I'm going to throw you the ball. You'll be open at the foul line. And Phil had nothing to do with that?
And you don't want to get this show started. because it'll take us a long time. Do you know all those cameras that's sitting in that huddle who they was working for?
The NBA.
So you know who Michael was speaking to when he said that, right? that was planned. That was speaking to the camera. That wasn't speaking out of what we're going to have to do, what the play is going to be. That was speaking to the camera. Had John Stockton not came down, trust me. But that was building his own documentary because he knew he was controlling the cameras.
Great. So you heard what Scottie had to say there. So this morning I was just kind of going through the internet, looking for what was on the news. And I came across an article from Fadeaway World where they were essentially saying that Scottie Pippen took a shot at Michael Jordan again. And I said to myself at the time, I'm like, but I thought we had already been here. What do you mean Scottie Pippen took a shot at Michael? I thought we've already gone down this path, right? And the name of the article is actually Scottie Pippen takes a jab at Michael Jordan. So I began to read through it, and it turns out there's some sound. And apparently Scottie is promoting this new product, which I think is a drink or something like that. And of course, to draw attention to it, he used that as an opportunity to diss Michael Jordan, because whenever Scottie says something about Jordan, it always attracts the headlines, and that is exactly what he did here. But before we even get into what this commercial that we're going to play for you so you guys can see it, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Prize Picks. All right, guys, it's that time of the year. The playoff push is on. Tournament hoops are in full swing, and there's no better way to cash in if you're right on all the clutch buckets and slam dunks than Prize Picks, where it's always good to be right. I finally jumped into their Team Picks feature, and I have no idea why I waited this long. First time I tried it, I was picking game winners and totals on basketball, and I actually came out right on my first one. But even more than that, watching the game just hits different. Every bucket, every run, every late game stop actually meant something. And here's what makes it even better. It's not just individual games. On Prize Picks, you can pick who cuts down the nets, who wins the whole thing, who takes home the MVP, tournament, playoffs, even the international baseball tournament. You can call your own shot on all of it and cash in if you're right. Team Picks are live right now in 35 states. That's California, Texas, Georgia, Washington, and more, all in the same Prize Picks app you already know. Download the Prize Picks apps today and pick your first game winner, spread, or total as the playoff push rolls on, and get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup when you use code CLNS. That's code CLNS to get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is good to be right. Okay, excellent. So what we want to do now is I want to play this commercial for you guys. Take a look at Scottie Pippen trolling Michael Jordan once again, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a look at this here.
Let's set the record straight about Pip. When you think about Pip, you think of what? Second best?
Fact check 'em, Pip.
When something has been considered second best for so long, we just blindly accept it as gospel.
A decades-long plot built on marketing, social media.
Multi-part documentaries.
Pip took that personally.
Yeah, I said it. Pip is a GOAT.
It's Pib.
Don't correct me.
Hey, yo, Mr. Pib.
So you saw what Scottie had to say there. What are my thoughts about this? I think now we can now honestly say that at the time Scottie was doing it, I think he was trying to sell a book or a liquor. I think it was a liquor at the time, and he used Jordan to draw a lot of attention to him. So he was willing to let the relationship he had with Jordan go up in flames to promote whatever product he had. And here's the irony in all of this. You cannot pull up any clip anywhere on the internet or elsewhere of Michael Jordan disparaging Scottie Pippen. You can't. You can find no video anywhere of Jordan talking bad about Scottie Pippen, but you can find countless videos of Scottie doing that about Michael Jordan. Quite literally, you can. Countless videos. Every time MJ spoke about Scottie publicly, he always said, I would have never won those 6 titles without Scottie Pippen. He always says that. Even when I think NBA 2K interviewed him, who's your starting 5? Named Scottie Pippen. He put him in there. You know, and Scottie tried to say Jordan was this horrible teammate and this terrible person. So why did you have him induct you into the Hall of Fame? You can't make sense out of this. If Jordan was as bad as you say he was, why did you ask him to induct you to the Hall of Fame? Because Jordan was there. So a lot of this now comes off as either opportunistic or you're just trolling at this point. And I think the person that ends up with the short end of the stick in this, whenever this happens, is Scottie. Because Chicago Bulls fans are like looking at Scottie like, Scottie, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? What are you doing? You know, and of course you have people like Shannon Sharp trying to egg it on because he's a LeBron guy, so he wants to sow discord within that whole Michael Jordan dynasty. That's why he was all Scottie, man, Scottie. Like, that was his whole angle there. We all get it. But hey, this is Scottie Pippen, and he's up to his old tricks again. But I want to know from you guys, what do you think about this? Whatever you think, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you on the next show. Peace.